You know that moment when your money finally starts looking like real money? Not fantasy money, not I got paid and then rent happened money. I mean the kind of number that makes you open your banking app twice just to make sure it still says the same thing. Maybe it's $8,400 and climbing. Maybe it just crossed $10,000. Maybe you've been staring at that number like it's some kind of emotional support pet. And the weird part is, hitting your first $10,000 doesn't just make you feel proud, it also makes you feel restless. Because now the question changes. Now it's not, can I save? It's, okay, what do I do with this? And honestly, I think about this stuff way too much. My name is Threk, and I spend an unreasonable amount of time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why two people can hit the exact same milestone and somehow walk away in completely different financial directions. Because that first $10,000 is one of those turning points. It's small enough to waste, big enough to matter, and emotionally dangerous in this very quiet way. And if you understand what rich-minded people stop doing at this stage and what broke-minded people keep doing, you can change a lot more than just your bank balance. So here it is. The big mistake people make with their first $10,000 is treating it like proof. Proof that they've made it. Proof that they can relax. Proof that they finally deserve to look successful, feel successful, or upgrade into some shinier version of themselves. And look, I get it, I really do. After working hard, being careful, saying no 100 times, there's this strong temptation to let the money become a reward instead of a foundation. But that's where the split happens. Broke behavior looks at the first $10,000 and says, finally, I can start spending like a person who has money. Rich behavior looks at the first $10,000 and says, finally, I can start protecting myself like a person who plans to keep money. That difference sounds small. It is not small. It's massive. Because the broke move is usually emotional. It's lifestyle creep in a nicer outfit, a better car, better clothes, a small upgrade that somehow creates a bigger monthly bill, a trip that feels justified because, I've been working hard. And again, none of these things are evil. That's the annoying part. The dangerous financial decisions are often extremely understandable. They feel earned. That's why people make them. But rich behavior with the first $10,000 is boring in the most powerful way imaginable. It asks, what would make my life less fragile, not more impressive, less fragile? That might mean keeping a real emergency fund, paying off high-interest debt, separating your money into categories so it stops acting like one big emotional blob, setting up automatic investing, basically using the money to reduce chaos before you use it to increase comfort. And that matters because your first $10,000 is not really about the amount. It's about what the amount teaches you. Think of it like the first brick in a house. If you pick it up and throw it at a window because, hey, you're excited and technically it's your brick, sure, that's your right. But if you place it properly, now you're building something. The first brick is not the whole house. It just reveals whether you're in construction mode or celebration mode. And too many people stay in celebration mode way too long. I've seen this pattern over and over. Someone saves a decent chunk of money, feels powerful for the first time in a while, and then starts making decisions based on how life wants to look instead of how life needs to function. It's subtle. They don't say, I'm sabotaging myself now. Obviously, nobody says that while buying a nicer apartment lamp. They say things like, I'm just upgrading a little. I deserve it. It's not that much. And one by one, the money stops being a shield and starts becoming a costume. That's the trap. Because once your first $10,000 becomes a costume, you have to keep paying to wear it. So what should you actually do instead? First, stop seeing $10,000 as spending room. See it as breathing room. That shift alone changes everything. Breathing room means you can handle a surprise expense without instantly panicking. It means a bad month doesn't become a disaster month. It means you don't have to solve every inconvenience with a credit card and the headache. Second, give the money jobs, not vague intentions. Jobs. Emergency fund, debt payoff, long-term investing, maybe a small amount for guilt-free enjoyment, sure, because being too rigid can backfire too. But the majority of that money should be assigned before your emotions get creative. Because unassigned money gets weird fast. Third, protect the monthly gap. This one is huge. If your first $10,000 disappears into things that increase your monthly cost of living, you didn't buy freedom, you bought pressure. Rich behavior protects the gap between what comes in and what goes out. Broke behavior keeps accidentally shrinking that gap while calling it progress. And that's such a painful mistake because it looks like growth from the outside. But real growth feels calmer, not louder. That's the thing nobody tells you. The rich move with your first $10,000 is usually not flashy. It doesn't look cool in a photo. It won't make strangers think you're crushing it. It mostly looks like cash sitting where it's supposed to sit, debt disappearing and systems getting stronger. It's quiet, almost disappointingly quiet, until life hits. Then suddenly it doesn't feel disappointing at all. It feels smart. So if you're getting close to that first $10,000 or you've already hit it, don't ask, how can I use this to finally feel successful? Ask, how can I use this to become harder to knock over? That's the richer question. Because rich versus broke is not really about income in moments like this. It's about what you do with stability when it first shows up. Do you turn it into appearance or do you turn it into infrastructure? One fades fast. The other changes your life. So stop doing this with your first $10,000. Stop spending it to prove something. Stop using it to perform success. Stop letting it become an emotional reward that leaves you more fragile than before. Use it to make your life sturdier. Use it to buy time. Use it to buy options. Use it to buy a little peace. And if that sounds boring, good. A lot of the best money decisions do. But later, when life gets messy and you don't fall apart with it, that's when boring starts to feel a lot like freedom.